Hi, everyone. Welcome to 2030, the podcast. The next episode I'm so excited about because we've got Ben Thakur with us. Ben is someone that many of you may not know, but Ben is a real influencer in the world of talent and recruitment on a global level through his businesses, High Five and eTeam. And I'm really delighted he's with us today. He's such a great guy. He's super interesting. We share a lot of common interest in purpose and doing things for the right reason, not just because it's a business opportunity. And just wanted to say welcome, Ben, and great to have you on board.
Steve, thank you so much, for the opportunity. I love speaking with you. And, you set the bar very high, so I hope I can measure up. But, I'll keep it real. That has always worked with me.
Yeah, I'm sure you will, and I know that doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, look, just for everyone's benefit, maybe you could kind of tell us the Ben Thacker journey slash story about how you ended up where you are today. You know, as a sort of highly successful entrepreneur, philanthropist, sort of influencer.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Steve, I was born and brought up in India. I did my education. At the age of 23, I came to US. I worked in India and Singapore for a year. And in US, I worked for a system integration firm, and they were amazing. They gave me an opportunity to do large scale modernization projects for Global 1000 companies. And then they also gave me an opportunity to really sell value based services to our customers. And that is how, that is the skills that I really learned in that company helped me start eTeam. eTeam has always been servicing Global 1000 companies. And, the DNA, my personal DNA, and the DNA of the organization is like we go where the challenges exist. We like to believe that we are very agile, nimble, and we can come up with working solutions with a lot of enthusiasm and agility. And we like to believe that we are easy to work with and very partnership oriented. What this has really helped us do is the customers have been very open in discussing their challenges because we want to listen to them, and they have the confidence that we will do something about them. And that has given us opportunity to really expand globally, expand in different service offerings and everything. And in these 25 years, it is really my clients and my employees who have made what eTeam is today and what has made me. And looking to do this for the rest of my life. This industry has given me a lot, and this is what I want to do.
And can I ask, because I've often referred to myself as an accidental recruiter. I went to an agency for an interview, and one of the consultants said, "Why don't you try recruitment? Why don't you join us?" And I thought, "Why not?" Looked pretty easy. 37 years later, I'm still in it. Definitely not as easy as it looked. But how about you? Are you an accidental expert in this talent space? How did you identify that as something you wanted to get involved in?
I would like to say, more than an accidental recruiter, I'm an accidental entrepreneur, right? In the sense that I never aspired to be an entrepreneur. All I wanted to basically do is accept new challenges and get a pat on my back from my customers and my employers. And it just happened to be that, my friend urged me to start a company with him. And a month later, when we started the company, he decided to go a different way. And I basically continued with the journey. And 24 years, I'm still growing eTeam. And also, what I really like about it is really I have built a lab in which we are incubating several other companies that I'm very passionate about. But I would say that I'm an accidental entrepreneur. I would like to say that I'm very proud to be a recruiter, because what I really love about our industry and by being a recruiter is, one is you get to influence people and make friends. Number two, you get to present opportunities from world class companies. And the third is when a particular candidate says yes. He is saying yes because I am making his situation better than what it is. And that thing is very empowering. It's a different thing that 1 month down the line, he may think that the rate is not too high or the salary is not too high. But when he's saying yes to an opportunity which makes his life better. And that is what I like about our business and about being a recruiter.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think I speak to a lot of recruiters who are not connected to that purpose, making a difference in people's lives, and I've looked back at people I placed in jobs at junior levels who went on to do things beyond what I could believe or them maybe, and it gives me some satisfaction, and hopefully, you know, I played a small part, but mainly for them, I think what a difference it made and how many people they hired and how many careers they launched, let alone how do they support their families and do things in their communities. So, yeah, I mean, I think recruitment's a hugely important part of the whole business fabric. It's not a transactional, one and done kind of mindset. And I think that's why the relationships are critical. I mean, and I love your energy for this. And again, maybe for people's clarification, you work with a lot of the big RPO MSPs, not only sourcing but also providing infrastructure services, and you know you've solved a lot of problems for these companies. I mean that is that a fair representation?
Yes, I mean, I am always, whoever I speak to, uh, let's say, we always used to ask a question, which is, what is your challenge right now? Right.
Yeah,
And that is basically what I want to fix for you. Right. And also, what we are today is because of the challenges that we solved 10 years before, new challenges. And
yeah,
what we are going to become are the challenges that we are looking to solve today. Right. So I would say that is a good representation of me and the companies that I represent.
yeah. I think that's amazing. Now we spoke maybe a year ago, and you said something which I was it blew my head off, and that was that you said one of your objectives or one of the things that you're looking at is that in a single day, your organization will help 1 million people find a job in
Yes.
the world.
Yes.
And I said, "How close are you?" And you went, "I'm not as far off as you might think." I mean, is that really possible? I mean, that just is so huge.
Yeah, it is absolutely possible. I believe in the power of manifestation, and I believe that whatever you want to do, if you basically put it out there, others will show you the way. So, am I going to be able to do it by myself? The answer is no. But there are many people who want to make a difference in the world, and if they find that you are such a person, they are willing to join hands, and all of us collectively will be able to realize that vision. And hopefully, while doing that, all of us get into basically hold a Guinness book for helping 1 million people in a single day.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely amazing. And one of the things, and maybe you observe similar or not, but as I attend large conferences and speak at different events and meet people, I think there's starting to become this separation between large companies and talent services and the mid tier. And in the UK, where, say, the agency market in that mid tier is huge, I mean, there seems to be the haves and the have nots, maybe. Do you see that happening, or do you see that's a short term adjustment in the market? Because I'm slightly concerned that mid tier providers don't have the opportunity to provide amazing service to large companies because they're looking for large solutions, large technology solutions, etc.
I mean, I have already always started the business, by focusing on the large companies. Right. So on the first day when I had basically started this business with less than $50,000 in my bank account, uh, th- basically, I always basically said that I'm going to focus on solving the problems of large companies. Right. So and I feel, and I also feel that, let's say, today I've created a company of $500 million. but there are other entrepreneurs who have created multi-billion dollar companies. And I feel that the reason that they have created billion dollar companies, because they have taken on a problem which is way, way, way bigger. And
Yeah.
I feel that it's not like, okay, you graduate to that, you first solve smaller problems, and then as you make a lot of money or maturity or whatever, you solve bigger problems. Bottom line is, I feel, you can basically start right from the first day, and you listen to the problems and you do something about it, without any fear, without any fear that you are small. You're not small. You can choose to basically solve bigger problems right from the first day. So I don't believe in the concept that you need to be big to solve bigger problems.
Okay. Yeah. And you know what? And I I agree. I think that at the moment there's sort of an obsession around technology, and I think there's an imbalance on this people and technology mix. Everybody's has some degree of apprehension or excitement about things like AI and where they fit. But I mean, you've successfully blended technology and people for 25 years. I mean, is it just a horses for courses sort of what is the problem, therefore what is the solution, or is it technology sort of forms the central piece of what you are trying to deliver?
So, Steve, in my case, right, I was a technologist before I got into building a business. So technology comes very natural to me, right? But I feel, the children, when I look at my children and children around me, what I do see is that they are natural technologists. The way a 2-year old can basically handle probably an iPad better than all of us, right?
Yeah,
So they are natural technologists, and I basically feel that we are in that phase in which the new guard which is going to take over, they are going to adapt technology right from the get go. you know Inside out, they are very comfortable and savvy with technology and social selling and social relationships and everything. I think for us, we need, let's say, for the people who may not have a technology bend of mind or whatever, you need to believe that the new tools are a lot easier to learn, and rather than being apprehensive and fearful of them, you basically adopt it, and it's a lot easier than what you feel it is. So that is what I would say to that. Technology is a great force multiplier, and
yeah,
it would take the monotony out. That is what I feel.
yeah, yeah. I've listened to a few podcasts, by various people, and they're technologists who are just saying, look, if the job was that boring that technology can take its place, then why are you doing it anyway? It's good at the tasks, it's good at the repetition, it's good at the accuracy, but the people skills, the relationships, the innovation, the trust, the excitement people feel together is still there. It just takes a lot of that heavy lifting out.
No, absolutely right. I mean, being human is very special, right? And it would be a waste of our lives if we led a very monotonous life. So I would say that, we need to let the tools take the monotony out so that you can really focus on the things that we came to this earth for, which is
Yeah,
really building beautiful relationships, solving big problems, and having fun along the way.
yeah. And I want to sort of shift gear a bit just on that point, because you and I have had this conversation kind of, in different ways when we have spoken before. But you and I both have a very strong sense of kind of social purpose and giving back, and that takes different forms for both of us. But I think we agree. I mean, why is that so important to you?
Well, it didn't start off that way, right? When, let's say, if you ask me this question, let's say when I was 25, I would say that my purpose in life is to realize my potential, right? Now, over a period of time, if you ask me this question, like when I was 35 or so, I would say that my purpose in life is to help you realize your potential. The questions that I used to ask my clients, or let's say any of my prospective employees is, what do you want to be when you grow up, right? And I want to play a part in that, whether it is a client, potential employee, partner, or an entrepreneur. Nowadays, my questions have changed. My question that I ask everybody is like, what is your purpose in life? And my purpose in life is to realize your purpose, right? So my questions have changed. So I guess it is an evolution. At 25, it was a lot about me, and as I grow older, I guess it's a lot about basically helping others realize the potential, because that is where I make better friends. I feel that I am living a more purposeful life and everything, and I feel that that is the way it is all going to ultimately come back to me you know
Yeah. And it's interesting because every time I speak to you, I always walk away kind of feeling either uplifted or I've learned a life lesson. You know, we kind of got sidetracked last time into a conversation on health and well-being and things like that. And I think, I always walk away think, wow, that, there's an extra 1%, that I've picked up today that's been amazing. Um, is that is that just that? I mean, I know that's you being you, but that's kind of a gift to hand on that level of wisdom to people. I'm nearly 60, and when I had that conversation with you, it was like, wow, amazing. I learned something new.
So, Steve, what I would like to say is, there are four principles, right, in my life. I like to exercise, meditate, learn, and give, right? And then, I decided this is what I want to do to live a better life. But then, over a period of time, as you meditate and as you go deeper, then, there is something which clicks in you, and you say, okay, am I exercising every minute? Am I meditating every minute? Am I learning every minute? And am I giving every minute? And then so that's a different light bulb which goes inside you. So for example, when I'm having this conversation with you, am I exercising? Am I very engaged? Am I meditating, which is, am I in the moment with you? Am I learning from this one, right? What do I pick up? So normally what I do is, I want to show you something. Like, I basically every day in the morning, I don't know if you see this, but
Yeah, yeah,
I basically, this is my to-do list, and this is my exercise, meditate, learn, and give. And at the end of the day, I basically say, okay, did I do all of this, and what did I learn from that, right? And I guess that is what may give you, let's say, that extra 1%, maybe every 2 3 days, and or maybe every week. Maybe it's an extra 1% every week or every 2 weeks, but if you are able to do that, you are a different person, maybe 1 year down the line.
yeah. I mean, 100%. I mean, and it's evident in your enthusiasm, and like it's not. People talk about pushing themselves. It doesn't seem like that's pushing you. That's just forming good habits and actually getting balance and some sort of harmony. In terms of how you exist, it's not all business. Everything you do, you're applying the same four elements to, whether it be a conversation with me or whether it be time away from work, you've recently traveled, or whether it be business. I mean, it, like I said last time, I learned a lot. Like, I felt quite inspired by your kind of ethos around things.
No, I mean, Steve, thank you so much for your kind words. But, I guess, a lot of it also happens is, because, you kind of, you're fortunate to be in a situation in which you meet some of the most amazing people in the world, like yourself, who are very positive, and that rubs off on you, right? And then that nudges you to do something else, like subconsciously, maybe it's just that when you're working with people who are very, let's say, purpose driven, they love, like, I think 8 out of 10 people that I meet, if not more, right, all of them basically say that I'm lucky to be in this industry, and this is the only industry I would want to be in, and everything, right? And then whatever conversations that they have, or whatever it is, right, they maybe subconsciously impact you or whatever. So that is one thing that I would basically say is, right, like, first is, you transfer enthusiasm. And I think with that, the kind of people that you're going to get associated with are going to be the ones who are going to inspire you. That is what I feel. This is not something that I started off with, but more and more I feel that's what is happening to me.
Yeah, and I think it's so critical in this industry because, as you said, people love the industry, but there's so many people that lose their way or don't have that kind of connection to where next. They're turning the wheel every day, but the way they're approaching the task or the problem, the way their business is set up, it they lose a bit of that edge and a bit of that shine about it. I think it's a huge shame. And before we started the podcast, I was telling you that I really want to leave the industry in a better place than I found it. And that's always been important to me. Now that might be unnoticeable to most people, but I want to help young people in the industry particularly challenge the convention and look at better ways to deliver and be unbelievably good providers of service to customers and candidates, and embrace technology and do different things rather than just repeat what everybody's done for so long. And in the UK, there's a lot of organizations existing, and they should be excited about what they're trying to do. I think that's it's trying to keep that level of excitement, and you certainly have that.
No, Steve, as long as we are able to convince ourselves that we are making our situation better, the situation of the people around us better, right? I guess that's the thing which matters.
Yeah.
As long as we are convinced that we are doing that, everything else, you leave it for others to basically decide whether, their lives are better because of us, you know.
Yeah, I meet those people too. They don't always agree, and but that's part of the process, of trying to present the alternative and people being open minded to it, or whatever. That's fine. I don't. People can choose their own path. I just want to make sure they have all the information and all the options available to them, so they might choose the right one.
Yeah.
Um, how about the people in your organization? Because you're a very personable, you know, entrepreneur. You're not the kind of hard, chairman stereotype, CEO stereotype. How do you keep in touch with your workforce, who are many? I mean, is that a challenge for you? Is it something you'd like to do more? Is it something you're very good at, making sure that each and every person sort of has the Ben experience?
I don't know whether there's a Ben experience, but I like to say whether I am hiring an office assistant in any part of the world. If I'm interviewing that person, even if I had to basically interview an assistant, or if I had to interview, let's say, a very senior VP or whatever, I will basically tell them that the E in eTeam stands for entrepreneurship. So you are your boss. Here is the construct that, basically, if there is a platform that we have created, you use this platform, but I want you to be entrepreneurial, right? You are your own boss. And the buck stops with you. So if you are an office assistant, the buck still stops with you. If you are a senior VP, or let's say one of many companies that now I'm incubating, the buck stops with you, right? So that basically makes them take more accountability than what they are probably used to. And lesser problems come to me. So that is how I'm able to get into more and more opportunities to engage with new entrepreneurs, new companies, and everything. So that is basic. That I would basically say is the Ben experience, which is the Ben's experience is that I give them the responsibility for their own actions and everything. you know
And if we focus forward a bit, I kind of called the podcast 2030 because I think, I wonder what people like you think 2030 looks like. Do you think it's going to be materially different in the world of talent? Whether it be globalization or technology, or a lot of people talk about the skills based work, but do you see it materially changing over that period of time, or do you see it being something that, there's sort of a bedrock of what we do and it's not really going to change much?
so I think I'm also a lot into spiritual books and everything, right? And there was a book which was written 2000 years ago, and someone said in that book that there is the world is always going to go towards technology advancements, but philosophically there is not going to be any advancement. So I feel that the problems that exist today are going to be the problems which are going to exist 10 years, 100 years from now. I feel that there is going to be a lot more technology. We are going to use a lot more technology. People are going to be a lot more savvier with technology. Our kids are obviously more savvier with technology. They are going to embrace the technology. I would say that technology is going to be a force multiplier for everybody, and it will take the monotony out of everybody's jobs. And I would say that the world is going to be a lot more global. Talent is going to be a lot more mobile. And so it's very exciting times. It's very exciting times for the people who want to embrace and welcome change, right?
Yeah,
And do their bit to basically maybe learn every day so that they can have that 1% of growth. Maybe not every day, but every week or every month. As long as you are able to do that, I
yeah,
guess in the next 10 years you are going to be very relevant. That is my journey. Am I going to be relevant 30 years from now, and am I still going to be that kid in a candy store when
yeah,
I was, let's say, when I started my career when I was 22?
yeah. You know, it's interesting you say that because I recently have said to people, this is the most exciting period in my career because I believe there's real change, you know. And I look back and think things happened in my career, but they didn't really change. But actually, someone reminded me recently that they used to work with me 20 years ago that I said that 20 years ago. This is the most exciting point in my career. There's change. I like change, you know, and I like that. And that's kind of how I feel right now. You know, the opportunity is different. And that's great. But I guess someone reminded me I've always said that. You know, I'm always looking forward. I'm always excited. I always think this is the next big adventure. Uh, you know, and I don't feel any different now. I think, you know, for me, embracing what's happening and thinking about the next 10 years, particularly, and what could happen, you know, I want to be involved. You know, I don't want to be a spectator, you know,
Yes.
and I want to help other people not fear it. I want people to embrace it because I just think there's just so much good that could happen. And I think, you know, people focus on the negative too easily. You know, there's too many good things going on.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I would basically say that, I can really see the child in you, right?
Yeah,
And the worst thing that can happen to you is if you lose the child in you, right?
yeah,
So, you know at 20 you were enthusiastic, at 60 you are enthusiastic, and I can see that at 80 you are enthusiastic. So, about it, and there is this childlike quality in you, which makes your journey exciting, and hopefully, it rubs off on the other people who get associated with you you know
yeah. And that's, you know, talking to you, and you know, clearly you have, you know, you that sort of stuff is, you know, just comes from you naturally as well. You know, which I think's, you know, really, I don't ever want, like, I've never ever gone to work and thought I did a job. Like, I kind of worked in an opportunity, and every day in recruitment and what I did, it was different. I had no control over who was going to call or what problems were going to happen, but you know, that was great. I love the adventure of, you know, what's happening next. It was never a job.
Yeah.
So, you know, I say to a lot of young people, don't, if your job in recruitment if your career becomes a job, put your hand up and tell someone, get some help. It should never be a job. It's too good an opportunity to turn it into a job.
you know
And
at some level I feel that job has become that three-letter dirty word, and
yeah,
it is associated with a lot of monotony and everything, and gig is the new word.
yeah,
Gig is the new word. So I would basically say that if job sounds very boring and everything, then this is now the world of gig, right?
yeah,
I want to be able to do gigs with the people who are very exciting, and I want to
yeah,
move in and out of gigs.
yep,
You could do different kind of gigs in the same company, or you can do it in different companies and everything. And also, that is one of the reasons I'm very excited about the new world, which is a lot about gig economy and the power to basically choose what you work on next.
yeah. Me too, because I think it makes sense to me. You know, you know, the if I go to the store and buy a refrigerator, the same guy doesn't install it and doesn't fix it and doesn't deliver it. But he's really good at helping me make a decision. And so people doing what they're good at and what they're natural at, that's fine, and I think companies expect people to be able to pivot between so many things, and let people do what they get joy from.
Yes.
What part of the job that they love, and that's one of the great things about, work's never been a dirty word, and my wife tells me I can't ever retire because, she just said, what would I would just make too much trouble at home. I can't trying to do things. Anyway, look, Ben, last question. I'm going to guess the answer, but I want to hear from you. If you weren't doing what you're doing, what would you be doing?
Well, I could have been anyone, right? I mean, I could have been a doctor or a musician or a wellness coach, right? But I would say that what would stay constant is that I would help solve your challenges and be a better you, right? I think that is what is constant, right? I mean, whether you're a doctor or an engineer or a musician or an artist, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, and that's true.
Or
I
being
have,
a recruiter, it doesn't matter.
yeah, that's right. And I have 4 sons. One is in the medical profession, one is an artist, one is or 2 are in business, but one is self-employed and one works in a big corporate. They're all completely different. Same parents, same style, and it does challenge me sometimes, but I just want them to be happy,
Yes.
and enjoy what they do, and hopefully that's part of their journey too. Hey, Ben, it's been fun. It's been a pleasure. I love talking to you. I wish I could do this every day. I always feel better. Like I probably need my fix every week, but
The
yeah,
feeling is mutual. The feeling is mutual, and I'm looking forward to collaborating with you and do
yeah,
things that we both are passionate about.
yeah. I hope so. It'd be great to keep in touch. Look, Ben, thank you so much. I hope everyone gets as much out of watching the podcast as I do in chatting with you. And yeah, look, I really appreciate your time.
Very
Thanks, Ben.
good.